Faith is often misunderstood. For many, they've used it as a band-aid to deal with personal and emotional problems. Although it is a wonderful option for many of our problems, it is not the exclusive answer to all of our problems. Join mentor, licensed therapist, and coach Sandy for an experience that will transform your life mentally, emotionally, and physically. Join us for Not Your Mama's Spirituality with therapist Sandy Durham.
Hi, Sandy Durham here, and this is Not Your Mama's Spirituality, and I'm your host, and I'm so gracious that you are joining us today. I have a special guest who's going to teach us about a new and creative way to navigate mental health, spirituality, and challenges that you may face on a day-to-day. Things have been crazy. You know, you look at the news, you go out into the world, things look different, things feel different, but guess what? There's help and there's hope. Right now, joining me is someone who is motivated, ambitious, and inspired to provide that help. Her name is Sandra Nestor-Love. Everybody give her a round of applause.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. So you all know, only family come on the show. So this is my girl, this is my friend, this is a young lady who has partnered with me. We prayed together, we laughed, we cried, and I'm so excited to have her sitting across from me with her baby. The baby ain't in the box, it is the box, y'all. But we gonna get to that. But first, Sandra, who are you? Tell these people.
I am one of 12 babies. I have several amazing siblings and born in Haiti and been in Jacksonville since 1982.
Wow.
And I own a company called Core Success Dynamics where we do gamification, certification, and reconciliation for high-end executives that run teams. So that's who I am.
Wow.
And I'm a mom of two brilliant sons, Isaiah and Gabriel.
Yeah, that's the priority job, y'all. She's
Yes.
a super mom, and then she's doing all these wonderful things in corporations. So you and we understand all those wonderful words. Can you break it down for the folks at home? What exactly do you do when you go in there? You're going in and you're revamping how they train, how they teach, how they learn. What are you doing in these companies that's helping them operate and function better?
So it started with doing training and training corporations, ethics and compliance training.
Okay.
What I realized, a lot of their content was very dry, and a lot of people did not want to do these trainings. So I had to create a way that you could gamify content that most people wouldn't want to pay attention to. So now I go and I meet with leaders that are struggling. I call it the ABCs of toxicology.
Okay.
So a lot of people are studying what's toxic,
Right.
the bad news of what's going on. And the ABCs of toxicology is anxiety, blind spots, and carelessness. And so I decided that there needs to be something that helps people have a grid for greatness and can ask the best questions and the best calls to action, these companies can use a tool and not only use it for the leadership, but they can also give it to their clients and their employees to have a self-care discovery tool that they can work with at home at their own pace.
Okay. Wow. That's awesome. I would have never thought to give her a round of applause. So just FYI, sitting across from a genius, y'all. So we're going to make sure we slow it down so she can break down some of these terms. But I think that's amazing. It sounds like you were able to go in and pinpoint the challenges and speak directly to it and even simplify it. She said gamify, y'all. And for all you all who are, getting on those kids about on them games, we have a genius right here who's gamifying things to help businesses and corporations run smoothly. That is amazing. So my question is, and I'm sure those who are watching and in our audience today, how would one get into doing something like this? You just had a dream one day and what happened?
So it was really, life was in transition and a tragedy. And there's something that pain has a way of triggering you to either make a real decision with precision. And I went through something in December of last year, actually. And I cried out to God and I said, God, what's wrong with me? And he gave me a list. And I wrote down as many as I could remember. And then I also said, God, okay, what do you want from me? And he said, the same thing I told you I wanted from you when you were 12, and the same thing I wanted from you when you were 18, when you were born again. And he made it very clear that I'm supposed to help people remember who they are. Remember The Lion King?
Yes.
My favorite scene is like, remember who you are, Simba.
All right now.
Right?
Yes.
And sometimes it's hard to get that clarity without a grid.
Okay.
Not knowing where the best is, where's the worst.
Right.
And I don't define what the best is, but what I do is I give people an opportunity to define that, and give them the best questions and the best calls to action to help them navigate through what's going on the inside of them. So the tragedy led me to asking some best questions, like, okay, Daddy God, okay, there's a pattern here in my life.
Right.
Fix me, Jesus.
Okay.
And so he gave me this game on Christmas Eve. I feel like it was my Christmas gift. And that's how it started. And then I met you right after that. And Dr. Sandy Durham, you're the midwife of this game. You helped me birth this game.
Never been called a midwife before. Okay. I'm going to add that to my resume. Yes. I mean, that leads us to the next crossing of paths, because as you all know, I do not believe in accidents and mistakes. I believe in divine intervention. And we crossed paths actually in this very building, right?
Yes.
I'm going to tell my little lighthearted version, and then I love to hear from your perspective. So I was invited to an event here, and I had a lovely table. I was so excited meeting new people, and I was doing a little raffle. And Sandra walks over and she looked at the jar and she said, "My probability is high for winning, genius." And so she writes her name and puts it in there, and she says, "Hey, I'm creating a game, and I'd love to come meet with you and talk with you. It's about mental health." I said, even if she's not the winner of this raffle, I'm going to reach out because I am curious. And this woman's spirit and her energy, I'm like, who is this person? Our names are kind of similar. Maybe, I don't know, mother from another mister? I don't know what they say these days. Okay, y'all know what I mean. But we had a connection, right? We had a connection, and I was so excited just to follow up with her and talk with her. But that was, one of the best decisions I've ever made, because y'all, this was a vision. Yes. This was conversation. This was prayer. This was a baby that was birthed. I was a midwife, apparently, y'all. Hey, I was there. But I love to hear your side. So that's what I remember. What do you recall as far as our paths crossing?
I remember coming to a conference with another fantastic woman, Dr. Diane Clark, her event. And I remember seeing your table, and I remember looking at you, and I'm like, oh, she looks very brilliant. And I did count and calculate the cost.
She did.
I was like, probability here is high for me. And I did not win the raffle, but I did win a really great person in my life. And I feel like I won that day because I was working already with some neuroscientists to help me develop the game. But Dr. Sandy Durham has a way of bringing things to meeting people where they are. I think that is what your name of your company stands for.
Hey, meeting people where they're at, mental health. So that's that.
Absolutely. Amen. And just talking to you, I knew immediately that you were going to help me bring clarity to what I was already doing. The game is really an introduction. It's really a EQ, success development system. And so for you to come into my life and not only provide me with the wisdom and some of the questions and the calls to actions for the game, it really inspired me to not only just do one game. There's 3 versions of this game. This is just the best fun, but we also have the best OMG, Optimizing My Greatness, and we also have the best proficiency, which is the best pro. So you really, just meeting with you and talking with you and doing that session at the university together, you inspired me to branch out in different levels when initially I was really just going to do one game. But thanks to your wisdom and your guidance, you showed me that I need to meet people where they are and let them have fun, boost their bliss. My definition of bliss is love, joy, and peace.
All right now.
And guide them through the OMG, the Optimizing My Greatness process, and eventually lead them to the pro game.
Okay. Those different levels. Yeah. Please give her a round of applause. Y'all, I was simply meeting with a new friend and we were having great conversation from a mental health perspective, how to reach people, just like she was saying, where they're at, asking questions specific to you threw a term out there, that EQ, the emotional intelligence, y'all, how you're feeling, how to articulate it, how to be aware. And a lot of the questions that, we were able to collaborate on speak to that, to help people navigate through very, very tough seasons and moments where it's foggy and they don't have clarity. And I remember you mentioning, you said it was a traumatic experience that paused you, but you were birthed a gift. I wonder what that was like. It was like, okay, I just been through this. Now what am I doing this? And that is amazing that this beautiful game is what was birthed from it. And I'll say this. I know we had conversations talking, mental health and how to navigate for your game. For you, on a personal level, phenomenal. You're brilliant. This is a genius, y'all. Y'all taking pictures. Make sure you get her autograph when you leave. Live studio audience. Personal level, Sandra. Mental health. What has that meant for you? Just navigating.
So it's something that I wasn't raised to discuss.
Okay.
It's refreshing now that people are becoming more open to it. The fact that in the game, I call it the soul train, right? Mm-hmm. This is a soul trainer. Mm-hmm. It helps you train up your thinker, feeler, your chooser. It helps you ask yourself some deep questions. And it's broken into red light, yellow light, green light. Mm-hmm. We have to learn how to stop and breathe and ask these best questions to deal with the war within. And to navigate to the next level of the yellow light, learning how to yield between people we love, which is a second type of conflict, to eventually help us get to the green light, go, grow and go. But before we go, we need to learn how to stop and breathe and reassess what's going on the inside of us, winning that war within. Before I designed the game, I wrote a book called Mission I'm Possible Too.
Okay.
And it talked about just some of my childhood trauma. Everything that I write, I try to write it in first person to just renew the mind.
Okay.
Because I know that the narrative on the inside of us, it's affecting our focus, our ability to focus.
Absolutely.
And in my book, my success formula is focus plus practice equals outcome. Our outcome is coming from what we've been practicing, and our practice has been coming from what we've been focusing on, and our focus is controlled by the best questions or the lack on the inside of us.
All right now. Y'all got that? Y'all caught that? Yes.
Those questions are so vital to ask the best questions, because if I'm asking myself, why am I so dumb? Why am I so slow? Why am I so this? Why am I so that? I'm not asking the best questions. These questions are not going to give me the clarity and the strategy that I need to navigate through challenging situations, especially during conflict. So the fact that mental health now is a safe place to discuss. I am working with, again, and I'm learning from these neuroscientists how we can make new neural pathways through journaling. Journaling increases
Powerful
the IQ
tool.
and the EQ.
Absolutely.
I remember when God told me, Sandra, I want you to do this for me. And I said, well, I don't believe in women preachers. And he said, I don't care what you believe. You need to care more about what I believe, because I have the best, most high view. He said, you're too stuck on the past and what people think. You need to be more concerned with what I think and what I feel about what's going on.
Wow.
And so it's important that the questions that we're asking are the best questions, solution-focused questions that train us to say our daily declarations with the best affirmations.
All right now. I love that. Yes. Give her a round of applause. And she said some very powerful things. And I'm just watching. I don't know. Y'all can see me. Admiring your courage. And what you're endeavoring to do is empower people to also step into that courage. Because communication, I work with children, teens, adults, couples, families, and communication probably is at the top of the list of challenges, the things that cause the most anxiety, facing hard conversations and hard topics. I love that this game was birthed from trauma, but equips others to have those difficult conversations, not only with one another, because there is a community or a connection component to this game, but within yourself. So I definitely think this is a phenomenal tool to not only, help open that dialogue, but challenge you to dig deeper and to face self, and for it to no longer be a hurdle or a stumbling block to, the best. So I think that's amazing. So we're talking here about a lot of mental health things, and you mentioned solution focused, which is something that, is very common term with mental health. Let's talk a little bit about the spirituality piece. So you are in corporate places where it's not the church, it's not anyone talking about maybe nothing mental health. How are you stepping into those spaces, letting people know, hey, this is the motivation, this is what's behind this is what I'm empowering people to do, to seek to find?
So everyone knows I'm unashamed of the gospel. My first love is Christ Jesus. Everyone knows that. But when I do go into a corporation, I do respect authority, and I teach core values. And the core values that I train is humility, integrity, maturity. What does that spell? What's that acronym? Humility, H, integrity, maturity. So everything I do is always about him. And I can convince any atheist. I'm an ex-atheist. So everything that I do try to do it in a considerate way, because I remember when I was an arrogant atheist, I did not want people to preach any religion of any sort on me. In fact, you would have probably gotten cussed out.
All right now.
Or I would have gotten you drunk. But it's just a little bit of my past, just to share that how God really can turn all things new and shift your dynamic if we're just open to just really humbling ourselves and being open to the best.
Right.
And so when I go into a corporation, I prove to them that everyone desires to have a business partner, a spouse, or a child that functions in humility, integrity, maturity. They said, yes, we do. And I said, okay, well, those are the core values that I'm going to come and train in today.
Okay.
Plus, with your ethics and compliance training, we'll go ahead and combine those two. And that's how I navigate in the corporations. And once I help someone hit their success target, then they ask me about my Jesus. They know what I'm about.
Okay.
I'm unashamed about it. But I meet them where they are, just like you.
Yeah.
And I help them navigate through a grid of greatness. I always ask them, what's your one word? What's that one word legacy that helps you stop and refocus? So if someone comes and disrespects you or dishonors you, what's that red light special one word that helps you stop and breathe? Remember, you're a human being, not a human doing. And what they do, we can't see life as life is doing this to us, but life is doing this for us. And when we see it in that solution-focused perspective, things get fun.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it gets interesting. It becomes more of an adventure.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I love that. The shifting of the perspective, introducing it very simply and straightforward. And what I find the most amazing is they're reaping the benefits without even knowing what they've tapped into. And here you are, just coming in and definitely improving the quality not only of their work experience, but even their personal lives. And I love that this game can go home. It can be something played with families, couples, kids, at schools. I definitely think this is a tool that would be very beneficial in a counseling setting as someone's navigating through, a very tough season, heightening awareness, different things of that nature. So it's limitless to how many folks it can benefit. When you created this game, did you envision that being in the homes of families and couples, or did you have a different vision?
I initially designed it for the POWs of society, the poor, the orphans, and the widows.
Okay.
The Bible says, Jesus wasn't religious, he was relational.
All right.
And he said the religion that he does accept, if we have to be religious, is those that take care of the POWs, the poor, the orphans, and the widows. Okay. And I fell in love with that even as a recovering atheist, because it showed me the heart of God. So when I designed it initially, it was for people that are in prison, people that are lonely, This is a solo strategy game. You don't need to play with anyone.
Okay.
But what's cool is you can open it up and you can play with your therapist, or you can play with your sibling or your partner, and you can literally take turns being head of the table. So one round I can be the therapist and you'll be the client.
All right. Now.
And then we'll switch roles. Okay. So we both learn and practice what it's like to be in authority and under authority.
Okay.
Everyone is in authority and under authority. And I think until we practice that and give people permission to accept that our power is in Him, and when we accept Him in us, it opens up our imagination station and innovation, and it gives us permission to take back our power. We give too much authority to our past where we cannot change and control.
Right, you're right about
when
that.
really now is where our authority lies in, and we can touch and agree with the one that sits on the throne of the future.
All right, amen. Yes, absolutely. I love that. Oh, the POWs, would you say?
Poor, orphans, widows.
And the widows. Amen to that.
And according to heaven, we are all poor, orphans, and widows.
All right.
Without Him. I mean, in heaven, we're going to be walking on gold. So you already know the best down here is not the ultimate best.
All right. Doesn't compare. right. That's amazing. So before we get into kind of the steps to how to play the game, because I want you to kind of do an overview for the people. I'd love to speak to two people that you probably, so we didn't prepare this, so y'all just brace yourselves. I'm just kidding. So 2 things that you said, and 2 types of people who I feel are watching this and are going to be the most inspired. The dreamers.
Yes.
And then you also mentioned you navigated a season where you were atheist, which means there was something that happened where you took a step back and then you step back in. So who do you want to speak to first, the dreamers or the people who navigate a season as atheists?
So the atheist, because I so can relate to being angry.
Okay.
Being angry and not knowing why I was so angry.
Right.
Why I was always wanting to fight. Why I always felt like a victim. And so, you know, when I was atheist, I realized that I was angry at a God I didn't believe in.
Okay.
Supposedly.
Yeah.
And one person told me one day, he said, point to the ceiling, and based on how many squares are in that ceiling, how much knowledge do you know, Sandra? And I said, oh, I'm very smart.
Okay.
And he said, well, go ahead, navigate. Tell me how many of these squares do you know? Anyway, he broke it down and said, okay, when I humbled myself and I realized I only know maybe a speck of the ceiling based on all the languages in the world, my intelligence is not that impressive compared to infinite wisdom, right? And so when I humbled myself, it opened up a facet of my heart that I hardened before. Pride and pain is a hardener of the heart if we don't submit it to our compassionate Creator. So to the atheist, I want to encourage you and let you know that you have a Heavenly Father that's totally in love with you. And no matter what they did or what was done to you or wasn't said to you or wasn't done to you, forgiveness is waiting. Forgiveness is in love. And there is a perfect love that exists that wants to show you who you originally were supposed to be, and all those things that happened to you, God did not do those things to you. It took me a while to realize that it was not God that did that to me, and that life was happening for me. It was not happening to me. And now, because of those things that I went through, I am now even more equipped to empower people. I have now the compassion and the patience and I call it the freedom fruit of the Spirit to help other people get free and navigate through their grid of greatness.
All right.
And so for even the dreamers, because a lot of atheists are dreamers.
Okay, now.
Right?
Yeah.
We're just stuck in our head.
Okay.
You know, I tell people less thinking, more drinking of the new wine of perfect love, right? Love is influential, and when we just partake in perfect love, love has a way of making us see things in a deeper level than where our limited logical understanding cannot take us. And when I realized that I'm just a dreamer that had a lot of pain that I need to lay down, that's when I could see not only clearer, but I could see that there is a bigger picture, that I'm just a minor little piece of the puzzle. I'm just a member in the body. And then I get to participate and meet wonderful people like you. And I get to serve and bless and honor you. And so to the dreamer, I encourage you, there's nothing too hard for God. God is limitless, flawless, and timeless. And if you guys don't remember anything I said today, God is limitless, flawless, and timeless. And if we can just do one quick exercise.
Oh, yeah. Let's go for
If
it.
everyone could just take their right hand and point up to the ceiling.
All right.
Look up to the hills which cometh your help, who made heaven and earth. Now make it go clockwise. Make your hand go clockwise.
Which way the clock goes?
Clockwise. Now we're going to pull our hands down. And as our hand goes down, it looks like our hands are going to hit us. And like life is happening to us. But if you pull it all the way down, your hands, down to your core, your womb, your heart, you're going to look like, why is it going counterclockwise? Because in quantum physics, the law of relativity says, based on your positioning is your perspective. So sometimes life will look like it's happening to you.
Come on.
But life is happening for you.
All right.
So dreamer, go for it. God is limitless, flawless, and timeless. And when you're in him, you can do all things through Christ, which strengthens you.
Awesome. That is amazing, y'all. We're all quantum physicists now, thanks to Sandra, are elevating us. Absolutely. So you, Miss Dreamer, now tell us, how do we play this game? Walk us through. Just, you don't have to go, ooh, almost lost the baby. You don't have to walk us through each intricate one. But if someone were to say, Sandra, how do I play this game? How do we get started? How do you navigate through? How do you win?
It's a super easy game. The objective of the game is to advance and fill your cup until it overflows. So in the game, I'm just going to give you a cup, and you have to decide, do you want your cup to get healthier, wiser, or wealthier? And then you'll have a pile of gems, and you have a pile of dirty pebbles, jagged pebbles. Okay. Based on how you answer the questions and calls to action, if you're willing to honor them, you get the beautiful, honorable gems to make your cup either healthier, wiser, or wealthier. But if you say, Sandra, I don't want to answer these best questions, I don't want to answer these best calls to action, then you got to put these dirty, jagged pebbles in your cup. So based on how you honor or dishonor the best questions and calls to actions is if you're going to let your ego or your hero win. There's two sides to all of us. The Bible calls it the spirit versus the flesh. I call it the ego versus the hero. So the inner hero always is ready and willing. We were designed. Do you know we already won the hardest test and race possible? Do you guys know what race we won? It's called the human race. Okay. When we were racing to the womb of our mother to be birthed into this world. Right. We already won that. Okay. You'll never go through a harder challenge than that. And we've already won that. Just to prove to you, you're already more than a conqueror. So in my game, their first round, there's no wrong answers. If you're willing to be courageous enough to answer honestly, you can win the best. You can be and function in the best version of yourself. And you can reach to the best levels. And if you're willing to go the second round, you journal it. First round, you yell it out. Second round, you journal it out. Because that's proven journaling improves your IQ and your EQ at the same time. The third round, I'm going to show you how to customize your own game. Okay. So you'll be able to play and design your own grid for greatness.
All right. How many of y'all ready to play this game? The best fun. That is amazing. And I think it's so rich. I say spirituality is a superfruit of coping skills. I don't got that copyrighted. But I think that is embodied in a game like this, where it seems to be just questions and commands, where actions asking you to do certain things, like let's example of a question.
Why do you want that success target of getting wealthier?
Okay. And go ahead. And what about a command? Give us
command is,
command.
Give me a 1-minute success story on how you're going to do it.
Okay. And for those who are wanting to challenge themselves and grow, they may be excited and eager to answer those questions, a question like that, and follow through with a command. But those who are intimidated by success, kind of nervous and anxious about challenging themselves with growth, maybe getting some, what'd she say? Some dirty, jagged pebbles. I don't want any dirty, jagged pebbles in my nice cup. So you all, I think this game is phenomenal. I will definitely look forward to playing with my family, because what's the youngest that can play the game?
8 years old.
Okay, and on 8 to 800? Just kidding, no, we're not 800. But you know what I mean. It's for everyone and anyone wanting to learn and grow, and there's different levels. And I'd love to let the people know how they can connect with you. I'm gonna just hold on to this one because this one's mine. Sandra, how can the people connect with you so that they can get their copy and find out other things that you are doing?
Yes, you can find me on sandrainlove.com. You can also go to coresuccessdynamics.com for the corporations. I'm also on Facebook, author Sandra Nestor Love on Facebook. And the game, you can always contact our office, 904-404-8828. We would love to do a free assessment for you, give you some clarity, help you design your grid for greatness.
All right. And of course, I am Sandy Durham and everything Sandy Durham, www.sandydurham-lmhc.com. Thank you so much, Sandra, for joining us. This has been another episode of Not Your Mama's Spirituality. Until next time, be blessed.
Dreaming about having your own podcast? Want to share your thoughts and ideas with the world but don't know how to do it? Maybe you're excited and committed but don't have a good space to record. Would you like a professional environment to produce all of your podcasts? Well, we have the latest technology from 4K to HD and various set layouts from green screen rooms to live studios. The Inspire Network is an actual television station where our studios are available for rent, and we offer editing suites with the latest technology. We have a makeup studio and beautiful spaces to prepare for your show. Don't forget to ask about our convenient photography studio to capture professional headshots or redefine your new look. Our state-of-the-art facility is intentionally laid out to accommodate your multimedia needs.